this massive crowd. How do we reach them? How do we get in touch with them? Those are the kinds of things that, marketing will help us do. So let's talk about your reach. Way back when, or way back then, it used to be nothing more than the paper, TV, and radio. Well, today we've got this little device in our pocket called the cell phone or smartphone or whatever you want to call it. It is literally the remote control of our life. Everything we do, everything we see is done through our phone. I mean, when's the last time you woke up and you didn't, first thing you do is grab your phone? Or have you ever been more than 5 feet away from it? Those are questions I always like to ask. But your reach now is also too include things like a blog, podcasting, Google search, YouTube, a whole different host of other opportunities to reach out to people. And today's marketing climate and the technology that's out there can be a little confusing. I mean, it's a little overwhelming even for us. But through it all, simple is what makes it best. Because if you're confused, I can assure you your prospects are confused, one on how to find you and really what's going on. So, one of the things that we've discovered over the years is, and I always like to use an analogy, is how does a successful business run? All right. It runs just like a commercial airliner. It's pretty simple and fundamental when you think about it, because what you have to do is you've got this thing called the fuselage. It's kind of your overhead and your everyday stuff that you have to have. You go from there, you've got your wings, which are your product and services. Then you have your right engine, which is your marketing. Okay. And then you have your left engine, which is your sales. And then you've got, the fuel, which is cash flow. All right. So what you've got to do is rev up that engine on the sales and marketing side to push that down the runway. And the more you rev it, the faster it takes off. And once it gets airborne, it's just a steady pressure on it that keeps it in the air. All right. So today, we're going to focus in on the right engine marketing. And we're also too going to talk a little bit about left engine sales. All right. But specifically, we're going to talk about email marketing. And we'll get into that because what's important is email marketing is a way to get them on the road to becoming a customer. We do another seminar called Building Your Marketing Strategy, that how do we get customers on that road to becoming customers? That's that customer journey you've probably heard a lot about. That's something that we spend a lot of time on with our clients. All right. So, the most important thing that any business needs to have before branding or even a website or anything is does your strategic plan look like for your business? All right. We have found that we've been parachuted in a lot of times with customers that want us to solve something specific. When we ask them, do you have a strategic marketing plan or strategy for your business? And they kind of look at you with a deer in headlights. I said, maybe even like 5 bullet points that you're trying to accomplish. 90% of them don't. Okay. And it's nothing against them. They just run and gun. But having a good strategic plan is very important to you because basically your overall brand strategy is built from that. It's more than being just different. It is, why do you do what it is you do? That's what people really want to know. All right. And how different are you from the competition? That's really what it comes down to. And what we've developed is a product called the Fast Track Marketing Accelerator that we jump in and for about 3 to 4 weeks, We're there immersed in your business and begin to develop and formulate a 12-month marketing plan for you. We've had some great successes with that, and it's something that we really spend a lot of time on. But one of the things that we have found that you've got to do right from the beginning is you got to understand your audience's brain. How do they think? All right. Again, very, very important. So, what is the job of the brain? Okay. The major job is to keep you alive to thrive. And it's also too designed to filter noise out of life. All right. So, what I mean by that is if you're married, your spouse, my spouse is one that if she knows that if I'm not looking at her, I'm not paying attention to her because I have filtered out all the other noise. That's how those 5,000 feeds to your life every day get filtered out. Something clicks, something catches your attention because it's either something you're not used to hearing, seeing, or doing. That's how marketing really can thrive. Now, the goal of the brain is to burn the fewest calories possible to get done what it needs to get done. All right. I mean, it's easy to sit in that Barker lounger and have food delivered to you more than anything else. All right. It also, too, gravitates to clarity. All right. That's very important. The clearer your messaging can be, the clearer your email campaign is, the more conversions or more opportunities it's going to create. Now, people don't always buy the best product, believe it or not. They buy the one they can understand the fastest. How can they understand what it is you're doing or selling the quickest way possible? I guess the best way to give an example of this is my friend Sheldon. He is so smart, just like you are. You've owned a business, you've got an incredible product or service, and you know everything about it. So you're at kind of at like at a 10. And we always make the assumption that everybody we're going to talk to has at least a basic understanding of what we're doing. So we're kind of going to dumb it down to about a 6. All right. Well, in actuality, no matter how smart another person is, they may not understand you, but they're really at a 2 or less. So, how can we bring our messaging down to a 2? Now, I know that sounds contradictory, but it is real important making it simple so they can understand it quickly. So, where all this leads to, that gap between the 2 and the 6 is called the curse of knowledge. It was created by Lee Lefevre, and in his book, it's that gap that most people get confused about. Good example, ever been to a party and somebody asks you, what is it that you do? And you go, oh my gosh, after a minute, I need to run away and get more food, or I need to excuse myself to get more beverage, or whatever it is you want to get away because you've gotten bored and glazed over. All right. Again, keep it simple, uncomplicated in everything that you do, because the simpler it is, the quicker they're going to understand and make a decision to do business with you or not. All right. So let's talk about something that I think that's very important as well in this whole marketing and email marketing and strategy and everything is, what is it that your audience wants? All right. They want to know what's in it for me. And two, can you make me the superhero of my story? I don't care about your mortgage. I don't care that if you close my deal, I'm going to win a free trip to Jamaica or whatever. How are you going to help me better my life, make my wife happy, make my husband happy, whatever it may be? What are you going to do to make me the superhero of my own story? Okay. That being said, now What do you think every superhero needs? Well, it comes down to something very simpler. Simple. He needs a sidekick. It's like Lone Ranger and Tonto. You know, if it wasn't for Kemosabe, who knows what the Lone Ranger would have done? And if it wasn't for Lois Lane, let's be honest, Superman would have never been a weird guy, nothing more than a weird guy in leotards flying through the air. But probably the most dynamic duo is Batman and Robin. Now, everybody thinks that it was Robin that made Batman. Well, unfortunately, Robin was nothing more than a cute guy in leotards. What made Batman Batman was Alfred. Alfred was his trusted guide, his trusted go-to type person. So when you are doing and working your business, how can you become the trusted guide of your clients? How can you help them succeed? Nothing gets us more excited than watching the lights go on and things start to grow in your business. For us, that's how we get excited. You know, we're like Alfred. We don't need to be in the limelight. We'll sit on the backside. We're just excited about seeing you reach your goals and objectives. But you also need to know too that you can't sell to everybody. All right? Because that's just not possible. You know, when you're starting, you'll take any order, and I get that. I was that way too, 30 some odd, well, almost 32 years ago. I'd take anybody at that time. But now what I've learned over this time is who is our ideal customer? Who is your ideal customer? And the good news is there's a 9-page worksheet you're going to get if you'll fill out the survey at the end that will walk you through this process. So you'll know at the end exactly who your ideal customer is. All right. So each product that you have has an ideal customer. Now, the same customer for product one may be the same for product two, but more than likely it's going to be something different. Do you have a customer profile? I mean, like I'm talking like a CIA, a dossier on your customer as to how they buy, what they think, where they hang out, and all that. It's in the worksheet. So make sure you fill out the survey. All right. So there's three things that you need to do. Identify a target market. Okay, let's say it's healthcare. All right, that is so broad, but can you niche that down to something more specific? Can it be dentists, chiropractors? When I first started in business many years ago, our niche was chiropractors. We did extremely well in chiropractors over the years, you know, but I'm just saying. And then from there, that niche market, who are your ideal customers within that market? Now, you can't serve everybody, and we can't serve everybody, but you know, we've got resources that can help just about anybody. So, who is, you know, your ideal customer? All right. If you don't know, you're going to get this 4-step guide to help you get the ideal buyer profile for your business. All right. It's all included in the information if you fill out the survey. All right. Another good thing that you have to do is you've got to create your own story. What's the story about your business? All right. Tell me, you know, can you give me a short version of your business? Well, here's a challenge. I want you to describe your business in 8 words or less. Now, you're all sitting there going, okay, I've got it, Mark. All right. And then you count it up and it's like 37 words. I'm being dead serious. It's got to be 8 words or less. 9 is a cheat, but it's okay. But 8 words or less to describe your business. Okay, so you're going, Mark, come on, it's impossible. Well, have you heard of the brand name called Ollie's? Their three-word slogan is good stuff cheap. I've been to an Ollie's. I have to say, they got a lot of good stuff and it's cheap. All right. I'll give you an example. Another one that we did with a company called DSP Armory in Alabama, or excuse me, Mississippi. They came to us wanting to build these AR-15s, and of course, in the AR-15 market, there's about 3,000 manufacturers, and they were building what we determined as a precision rifle. So we had to figure out a way, how could we stand out from the crowd? So we came up with the slogan, precision delivered down range. So here's what's great about having a 8-word or less description of your business. It begins to tell a story. So people are going, well, how do you all deliver precision downrange? Great question. What we determined was that every rifle that they made was shot at 100 yards at a target, and it was not boxed up and shipped until it was hitting at least three in the 10 ring. And what we included in the box was the target and the 3 shells to prove that that rifle was a precision rifle. So again, it creates something that you can tell a story about. All right, you're sitting there going, Mark, what's yours? And I said, that's a great question. Well, it's your brand in demand. Now, there's a lot there, but we're excited about getting your brand in demand. We're demand generators. And that could be as simple as getting a response from an email campaign. We're going to show you how to get started in doing all of that. So there's a lot of things that's going to be involved here, but let me ask you this to help with that curse of knowledge. What is that famous one-liner that you tell everybody? Could you sum up what you do in 1 or 2 or 3 sentences? That famous one-liner. All right. Well, one of the things that we came up with, and we've got about 20 that we use depending on conversations that we have and identified issues. But basically, Mr. Prospect, we've discovered that in over 30 years, most people struggle telling people what it is or what they sell as far as their business is concerned. We have a simple 8-step process that clarifies that message. And a lot of times, what we have found is our clients start to see more customers and better customers. Not that you need anything like that, but if you know of somebody, let us know. All right. Well, within basically a minute and a half, that person knows that. That creates conversation at a party. If you go on and on and on about your product or your job or whatever, they're not going to ask those kinds of questions. So, can you come up with your famous one-liner? Okay, Tim, you got a question?
No, you've got some answers. Some people have taken the challenge to define their business in 8 words or less.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, we split atoms and unite people. That's from Bill. Sandra
Oh,
says we lend a helping hand.
that's a
Morris says,
snoozer.
yep, Morris pushes the limit here, providing tomorrow's information and communication technology today. Mike says, celebrating life one at a time. I like that one.
Yeah.
Um, Kenya says, I'm the boss, coach. Hope says, use your mind to reduce your pain. Ooh, I always like ones that talk about making the pain go away. I think those are
Yeah.
very compelling. Uh,
Right.
Kenya says, elevated Southern inspired comfort food. Oh, sign me up for the comfort food for sure.
Yeah. I do work for food, by the way.
Allison says, helping seriously ill patients live well. Well, God bless you for that.
Yeah.
Philip says, coach you to become a baby step millionaire. Ah, that's
That's
intriguing.
an interesting one. That's
Yeah,
intriguing.
what's
I like that one.
intriguing about that? Um, Charity says, I help businesses define their marketing strategy. Okay, very straightforward, very clear.
Yep.
Marlene says, God honoring musical theater that students love to perform. Ah, interesting. Might have exceeded the 8 word limit, but I'll bet you could tune that down a little bit.
Sure.
Jennifer says, whoops, I'm starting to, people are really jumping on this. Um,
Wow.
Jennifer says, where love stories begin or your haven for romance.
Woo. Like
There's a
that
couple
one.
different options there. Christina says, excellence. That's precise and to the point.
Sure.
Teresa says, be in the moment of discovery. Be in the moment of discovery.
Okay.
Kind of stimulates her wanting to learn
Yep.
more about what she means, huh?
Yep.
Teresa says, craft chocolate solutions made easy. All right,
Ooh, I
succinct.
like that one. I love chocolate, by the way, just so you know.
Musical, I'm sorry, Maria says, magical, glamorous, fun-filled spa experience for kids' celebrations. Well, okay, Maria, you've exceeded the 8 words, and
Yep.
Mark's 9 would be acceptable as a cheat.
It's not a rule that can be broken. Okay. But
You want to tune that up a little
we
bit.
got a bunch of them that are coming in, and that's great.
All
Okay.
right,
I'd be more than
I'll
happy
sign
to
off.
talk to you.
Obviously, it
But
was,
go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say I'll sign off. It was obviously a great prompt.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great. But just so you all know at the end, and this is kind of top secret, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and reveal it now. At the end, you'll be able to sign up for a free 30-minute video discovery session. Absolutely 100% free. Not going to pitch you on anything. And if you want to talk more than beyond the 30 minutes when we talk, you're going to have to, ask permission for me to keep talking. Okay. You're going to have to beg me to keep talking because most of our conversations when we do these sessions last about an hour. So again, you'll have that link at the end to sign up for that, and we encourage that. But let me give you a couple of key things to think about, and this is where you want to take a note. To get an effective one-liner, it has to have three elements. It has to have what's the problem you know that 90% of your customers have. Okay. And an easy way to figure that out is okay, you take a piece of paper, turn it sideways, draw a line down the middle, and put a line at the top and leave a little space at the top to write this in. On the left-hand side, you list all the customer problems that you know that they have that you can solve. All right. And then the second element of this is how do I, as a company, solve those problems? All right. That's what you write next to each one of those identified solutions. But here's the magical part of any kind of marketing that you do. People care about one thing. If I do business with you, what can I expect as results? What are the anticipated results? So you've got to state a problem. Here's how I solve it. And here are the results that you're going to get from that. And it can be statistical, emotional, whatever it may be, but they want to know what kind of results am I going to get if I do business with you? That's the most important thing. All right. Let's move on to what I think is important too as you build your business. It's your brand. All right. Well, a lot of people think it's, you build a product and that's it. Well, it's actually getting it entrenched in their brain that whenever that problem comes up, you think of their product. And I'll give you a good example. I love to hunt. All right. And I have a certain brand of camo that I use. I won't look at anything else. I've been approached to wear all kinds of stuff. I just have found this one brand and I love them to death. And I've worked with them. They're great people. They're entrenched in my brain. Do they make a great quality product? I believe they do, but some people will potty mouth them anyway. But again, it comes down to how can you stand out? What's going to make you different from everybody else? But let me show you a couple of things that I think you'll find interesting. First off, this is not a brand. This is not a brand, nor is this one. And ladies, this is not a brand either. Okay. This is a financial commitment. All right. None of this is a brand, they're logos. So, what is a brand? Here's what I think a brand is, it's how you make people feel. It's an emotional connection that they have to you. Is it what kind of experiences are you creating? Is it memorable? Those are the things that they are important. It's your reputation. What are people going to say about you? Hopefully, here at the end, you're going to say some nice things about me, and a 5 is what I'm looking for, just so you know in advance. Okay. You know, it's your promise. Do you do exactly what you're going to say it's going to do in your claims and promises? It's your story. It's a narrative of who you are. What sort of values do you have? What core principles are guiding you? It's how do you communicate? It's everything you say. It's your culture. All right. It's also, too, the differentiator. What sets you apart? It's your vision. So while these are all logos, this is what makes that brand. All right. And that brand essence, it's the core values that you have there and how you inform people of that brand experience is very critical. So these are all elements, and in the another seminar that we do, we go into a lot more detail. But here's the quick summary. All right. But a good friend of mine, Jay Cornelius, um, at Nine Labs, quoted a very good definition of what a brand is. A brand exists at the intersection of what you do and how people feel about it. How do they react the moment you sign a contract? Are you sending a welcome email to them? We'll talk about that in a few minutes. That begins the journey. Okay. A lot of times people have buyer remorse. They just spent a bunch of money with you, and you send them a welcome email that says, "Congratulations. We're so excited about working with you. And here's what our next steps are." That just is reassurance. I look at it as, how can I guide you from the day you start to we hope you pass the baton to your next generation of person that's taking over your business with us? That's, I think, the most important thing. But what is your messaging? What does that look like? Again, that's another important element. But a messaging does nothing more than, how does my product solve or service solve a potential problem the customer is having? All right. And clear and simple, easy process to buy and enjoy your product. I can't tell you how many times we've had situations with clients. I look at their website and go, okay, so how do I do business with you? Funny story. We're working with a um, leadership training company out of Charlotte, and beautiful website. But I looked at their homepage and I said, boy, this is all about you and how great you are, and look at all the awards you've won and all that. You've got me sold. So where do I click to start? I'm ready to go. Where do I start to sign up for what or do what? Folks, you gotta make it easy for them to give you money. Doesn't have to be complicated. All right. Again, this is all part of that strategy that you need to work on. All right. So we're almost going to get to the fun stuff here. Let's talk about what marketing really is, because I think this is important as you build and talk about your email marketing. All right. Marketing is an entry point offer that starts that conversation, that initiates that to start an ideal sales conversation. All you're doing is teasing them to call. All right. Marketing's got to answer a couple of things. What do I do? How do I make my customer's life better? And how can they get it? All right. It's real simple. It's how fundamental it is. So let's look at the sales funnel and process. You got a prospect, qualification, research, pitch, handle, and objections. Your email marketing will basically be the pitch. And we'll talk about how to create effective pitches here in a minute. All right. So let's jump in. Before I jump in, Tim, is there any more questions or comments?
We're in good shape.
Okay, good. All right, I'll keep running along then. All right, we've got some good time here. So we're doing good. All right. So email marketing. I know everybody's, probably an expert at this, doesn't need a whole lot of coaching here. I'm sure that it's very clear, there's no complications. It's got to be overwhelming, not overwhelming at all because there's so many options. Surely not. Come on. Of course it is. I've always heard it said that, email marketing is dead. It's not effective. It doesn't work. Social media is it. It's the cat's meow. It's everything in social media. I said, well, there's 4 reasons why email marketing is not dead anymore. All right. Fundamentally, those 4 reasons are: it creates personalized content, one-on-one. It's, hey, Jim, I just thought you might like, or hey, Jim, we're about to do a marketing seminar. Thought you might like to join us. Okay. It also, too, reaches the right people. Again, it goes back to your target audience. You want to send that information out to those people that fit your ideal buyer profile. It also, too, provides value to your audience. If you're constantly doing nothing but selling every time you get an email from you, they're going to be turned off. With our email campaigns, it's usually about 1 in 4, 1 in 6, we talk about a product or a service. I want to give you value. A lot of what we do in our blog posts and stuff like that and our social media posts are things we run across that I think have good value and want you to experience. All right. Are you sharing your whole story? I teach my team, share everything you know. Mark, you can't give away all our secrets. I said, there are no secrets. Okay. But one thing I do know is if I give it to 100 people, everything I've done, less than 2 of them will actually take it and run with it. I learned that when doing boat shows all over the country, standing up on a big tank with fish in it, casting and fishing from there. Everybody, got upset with me, especially the guides in the area, because I was giving away all their secrets. I said, you noticed at the end, I introduced you guys to get the information from. I'm leaving. 99% of the people here will never remember how to do exactly what I said. They're going to call you to teach them how to do all that. Okay. It also, too, allows you to retarget your information to people that have expressed an interest. What's the next step? Can I give them more information that will help them to engage? Okay. So now let's talk about a little bit more about what is email marketing. It's consistent, popular, and effective. 99% of the people check their inbox every day. I mean, I can't imagine not checking your email box at least once or twice a day at the minimum. Customers prefer 61% of them want to be contacted by email on their favorite brands. And for every dollar spent on email marketing, it returns $36 in revenue. Pretty strong, effective thing that you need to consider. Okay. So, what are the uses of email marketing? It's relationship building. I'll give you a good example. We have a client that does HR services for small to medium sized companies. He has a list of about 9,000 people he targets. At first he was only getting about a 15 to 20% open rate. And, he said, Mark, some of these people have never opened it. I said, have they unsubscribed? He said, no, then they're still a viable prospect. They don't come off the list until they either it bounces or they unsubscribe. All you're doing is when you communicate with them, you haven't given them enough reason to click and open from your subject line. And we'll talk a little bit about that today as well. It boosts your awareness. If you're giving them some interesting things to think about, it's just going to make you more out there. We're trying to post a lot to LinkedIn and Facebook and all those, but that just gets you more followers. That's what you really want, is people to follow you because they want to know more about the ideas that you share. All right. Content promotion, building content, it gets it out there. We just did an email campaign for a remodeling company here in Atlanta. They just did this incredible hardwood staircase that is the before and after is compelling. They've gotten so many inquiries about that and so much more because of the craftsmanship that they do. Sometimes you just never know what kind of content will produce those kinds of results. It generates leads, aka that content generated a lead for them. It's a great way to market your products. Got a new product introduction, post it on social, but also to send it out to your existing clients and prospects. Never know what's going to happen there. And it also too is a great way to nurture leads. You send them one and you forget them. No, if they opened it, and there's ways to do that with software now, if they opened it, they made a decision to look at your brand. Are you going to send them a follow-up email in 2 days? Are you going to then, if they open it again, are you going to send them a third email 5 days later? The best part is you don't even have to do that yourself. There's software that can automate all that for you. That's how you nurture them to becoming a customer. All right. Is keep their interest moving forward. And it qualifies them to become a customer very quickly. All right. So there's 7 basic types of B2B emails. Welcome, educational emails, introducing a seminar. All right. Promotional emails. You've got a new product offering. It's the Christmas holidays. It's an invitation email. We're going to be doing a webinar series starting in April. Every month, it's going to be free. And we're going to encourage you all to come and enjoy the free information we're going to give away. It talks about nurturing your leads. Newsletters are very important. And we're going to talk about how to design an effective email campaign here in a little bit, but it also too, seasonal is another way you can do it. But there's other things you can do, loyalty, programs, you can do a whole host of things, seasonal, whatever it may be. If you're a B2C, there's a lot of options that you can think about, and we'll talk more about that as we go along. All right. Well, like anything, there are pros and cons of email marketing. So the pros are stays in the inbox until they read it, delete it, or archive it. So it's there. Believe it or not, it takes as many as 7 days for somebody to actually open your email. I know that's hard to believe, But statistically, you can see that on the reports that we've seen. The ones that want to see it open up right away, and those decline shortly thereafter, but it also too still creates traffic. It increases your brand awareness and traffic. We talked about that. It also too allows you to demographically target users and segment your list. So if you've got product one list, the people you know are good suspects for that product, and product two, you've got another list for those that are good targets. You've got two email campaigns you need to focus in on. That makes it more effective, and you want to get them into the road to becoming a customer. All right. It also too allows you to test subject lines, call to actions, CTAs, and A/B testing. You can A/B test. So if you've got 1,000 people on your email list, you can A/B test that 500 get subject line A, and another 500 get subject line B, and see which one has them open emails better. Instead of sending out one subject line to 1,000 people and you don't know whether that works, and you got to wait till the next month to do it, or the next week, or whatever, to get it. This allows you to do all that. The software will allow you to do that pretty effectively. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about the cons. It's called spam. We all love spam. It's not a food group, okay? I'm just saying, all right? Spam is what, the email or email has been built on. Wish there was a way to stop it. I don't know. But again, you're going to be considered spam at some point in time. Size. You can't send large video, large images, and so forth. It gets stopped before it gets there. So that's another big thing. You've got to keep it simple and easy for them to download. So much competition for their attention. I mean, my goodness, I get 300 emails before lunch. A lot of it's junk. But again, I probably get 1,000 emails a day. I wish I could make it stop. It seems like the more I unsubscribe, the more I get. So I'm just saying, oops, sorry about that. Let me go back to my screen here, and there we go. Okay. All right. The other thing you want to look at is the engagement and design and cost. You know, are you getting the engagements that you want? If you're not, it's time to rethink it. It's one of the things that this client and ours in the HR space, we've been doing a lot of different testing lately on different product offerings, and we're starting to get a lot of traction on certain ones that we've experimented with. Design, keep it simple. People make it too complicated. Also, to the cost. There is a cost associated with email marketing: time, the software, and the expense of doing it. There are limitations depending on who you use as your supplier. So again, those are elements that you need to plan on and think about as you move into this thing called email marketing. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here, all right, and find out if there are any questions. Two things: if there's no questions, everybody's asleep, all right, and I'm boring. Okay, so let me know if I'm doing okay. All right, Tim, what's up?
You've got a question from Warren, and I think it'll apply to a lot of the folks on the call. If you're a new startup, is it worth purchasing email lists around the market you're serving? I receive at least 10 emails a day from companies selling mailing lists. Worth it or not?
Well, I mean, that's the $300 question right there. If you're going to buy a list, you've got to find out and do research of how they're acquiring the list. If they're just scraping the web for emails, list, and so forth, it's not a good list. If you're using something like Zoom Info, Very, very good. Very high quality information. It's expensive, but there's a lot of good info there. Here locally, business wise, been around for over 30 years. They have a list of every business in the state of Georgia that with the owner's name, phone number, email address, everything listed as part of their service, and it's checked on a regular basis. Those are services that you can get, but we'll talk about how you can grow your list as well. All right. Hopefully that answers your question.
Jenny asked a question that's been coming up quite a bit. Maybe it's for folks that weren't here when we started the workshop. Will the webinar be repeated, please? And I think it's safe to say, Mark, that our chapter calls upon you to do this and other workshops on a regular basis.
Yep.
Probably a couple times a year.
Yep.
And Mark does other workshops as well. So yeah, I can't tell you when it will be repeated, but if you're keeping track of our particular chapter, our workshop coordinator sends out emails to you regularly showing the upcoming workshops. Yeah.
Not a problem. Let us know and we'll get you on our list too for the free webinars.
That's a good point too. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing in May, we're doing this same seminar again, and only a little bit more expanded.
Thank you.
Just FYI, I'm sorry, Tim, I didn't mean to say that, but anyway.
No, that's great. That's great because I don't know about it till about 6 weeks beforehand. That's great. Viola asks, if you're a new business, what's the best way to get email addresses? Okay, I think Viola, that Mark just answered that one.
We got other things too. I'm going to talk about in a minute. So that you'll get an answer to a little bit more in depth here in a minute. Okay.
Yep. Allison mentioned something I think a lot of us feel. It's overwhelming. What priority do you put on social media and blog posts versus emails? Real good question.
That's a great question. It has to be all part of your strategy. So when you start this, there's probably 15 different social media platforms. Pick one. Start there, become proficient in that, start getting results, and then add another. All right. If you're B2B, start with LinkedIn. All right. There's a whole strategy there. There's a lot of free guides out there for you to use and so forth. Greg Burkhalter here in Atlanta is the LinkedIn guy. He is fantastic. And I've been to many of his seminars. The first time I heard him, I was so upset that I had done my LinkedIn profile so wrong that I literally walked out of there, took lunch, and spent 2 hours redoing my LinkedIn profile. And it has been a huge success. And by the way, look me up on LinkedIn and please, by all means, let's connect because we send out a lot of posts and we'd love for you to follow us. That's another great thing to do. The more content you put out there, people find you and they follow you. That is a great source of creating an email campaign from to get a list. You put in a post on LinkedIn, says, hey, sign up for our newsletter here, click, they sign up, and now you've got a new name. All right. You never know who's going to look at that. That's one tool that you can use. Getting people to sign up, it's an art form. But even if you have 10 people on your list, you got to start. The key is to start. We've got one client that's got over 150,000 email addresses that they send out to. He started with 5. It took him 5.5 years to get up to 12,000. He's been in business for 20 years. Now he's up to 100 and plus thousand. It ain't going to happen overnight. You got to start and be consistent about it. That's the thing I always try to encourage people.
Just to add in to what Mark's saying here about the different platforms, think you'd agree that the demographics of the platforms are very different.
Right.
And if you want to do a deeper dive in the marketing workshop that's coming up in a couple of weeks, marketing planning, where we actually address how to complete the document, if you will, go through all the points that should be in a good marketing plan. Anywhere that there's are a couple of slides that go into the demographics of the different platforms by age, by gender, by
Yeah.
income, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very helpful
Yeah.
series of slides.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of good resources out there, but you know, if you're looking at blogs, blogs are great to post out there because that makes you the resident authority. You know, there's one slide you'll see here in a little bit, the fundamentals of email marketing. There's 13 points. That's going to be turned into a blog article here shortly and will be posted out probably next week. All right. But, you know, I've only got about, you know, close to 3,000 followers. My goal this year is to get to 10,000. All right. That's going to be a lot of work and a lot of content we got to create. But again, it's one of those things that we're trying to get and go for. So again, it's not going to, like I said, it's not easy, folks. There, you know, is everybody used to say, I don't know if anybody's ever told you what a whistling gopher is.
Yeah, was
It's a professional business term. It's called a prospect. A whistling gopher is somebody that says, "Hey, Mark, what is your services go for?" And I tell them the price, and they go, "Oh my gosh, you mean you can't do it for $200?" No, you can't. We've discontinued that whole product line. So while in the beginning you may take a few whistling gophers as clients, probably not long term.
you gotta put a slide together for that one, Mark, and
I will.
I'm gonna steal it for the marketing planning workshop.
Please, by all means,
There you
do.
go.
Okay.
Els asks, which company do you use for email campaign? MailChimp, Sender, which one? Do you have an opinion on that?
If you'll just be patient, I'll tell you. Holy mackerel,
Oh,
golly,
there you go. Okay,
it's
so
coming.
I'm
Okay.
gonna I'm gonna leave Els's question out there just in case you fail to meet on your commitment there.
Okay, that's fine.
Uh,
Hold me accountable. Okay, I get it.
I hope I'm not mispronouncing the name. Garthy asks, email versus SMS. Thoughts? Do both, one or the other?
Well, yeah, you kind of have to do both. It's all part of the strategy, okay? But if you're a startup company, you can't do everything. You've got to work with someone or figure out what are the top two or three things we can accomplish and get done. You know, we talk about the fundamentals for us are strategy, branding, and digital footprint. Okay, that's a website. Those are the three most important things as a business owner. Strategy being number one. Now, you're sitting there going, okay, why do I start with strategy and not branding? Well, strategy will determine your brand. It'll determine the design of your logo. It'll determine everything about you. Cornerstone Media Group was intentionally created because we feel that what we create is the cornerstone of your business. All right. And we've got programming that shows then how to build that cornerstone. And that starts with having a great strategy. But it also, too, will determine your logo, what it looks like, and all of that. It's a funny story. I'm sitting at lunch with a guy that's in business. They sell, can't remember what it was. It was plumbing service, or no, I can't remember. Anyway, he was so proud of the fact that he just had his logo redone, and it was five wavy lines. And I said, okay, you do this, but how does that relate to that? And he said, well, kind of, sort of. Yeah. I said, you need to ask for your money back. He didn't appreciate it. And he goes, Well, I just spent $150,000 to have this rebranded. I said, like I said, you definitely need to get your money back. Okay. Until you build that strategy, you can't build an effective brand. And then from there, once you have that brand, it builds the digital footprint. So those are the three elements that we basically focus in on when we work with clients. Okay.
Donna asks a very subtle question, in my opinion.
Okay.
Says she says, "How many emails a month do you recommend without being annoying and yet creating top of mind? You know, where's that fine line between a pest?"
Great question.
Yeah,
For us, one a month, because I know the clients that we work with are C-suites people and they don't have a lot of time to read a lot of stuff. But it can be once every, I'd say twice a month, could be an effective campaign, depends on your product or service. But, sending something every day, I mean, is not even practical. And it's annoying.
you're just waiting for somebody to unsubscribe
Right.
or block.
Right. But also too, think about what is the content. You know, my blogs, we're trying to post at least once a day. Now, not everybody's going to read what I have up there, but if I can get more eyeballs going through every day looking at stuff, then I know something's happening. Like we posted one blog post on LinkedIn that got over 1,500 eyeballs on it. And we've had several over 500 eyeballs. That tells me people want more of that content. So I need to create that content, not only in my blogs, but in my email campaigns and so forth, that will get them to capture and open those emails. So hopefully that helps too, is having that kind of a strategy.
Excellent. Anonymous asks, "How do you get people to sign up for a newsletter if only those who are signed up can read it?"
Well, hang on, it's coming. I'll have those answers for you in a minute.
We're going to leave that one open, Anonymous.
Okay.
Catherine asked a question that's been asked by several people. "Can I assume this webinar will not be available on the SCORE website?" This content is Mark's intellectual property, so no, it won't be on our SCORE website. But the good news is he does come back regularly.
Well, and the second thing is if you'll sign up for a 30-minute free discovery call, we can talk more about anything you want related to your marketing, branding, whatever. And we can talk about your email campaigns and dive into it. It's all free.
Free is good.
My favorite four-letter word.
Craig asked, "Could you please repeat the name of the person that you referenced with LinkedIn, being the LinkedIn authority?"
Yes, Greg, Gregg Burkhalter. He's fantastic. And you definitely want to, follow him online. He's incredible. But when you look at my LinkedIn profile, it's a lot of what's there is his fault. Okay.
All
And
right.
it's been very, very effective for me.
Vanola asks, "How do you build an email list?"
Golly, you all are so far ahead of me. Settle down.
You got
It's coming.
we got
Okay.
three that won't go away. Okay. Um, Valerie asks, "What about athletes? Is that a good target market to email or focus on social media?"
Yes. Okay. So my next question is what kind of athletes? Are you talking professional? That market is so small. If you're looking for professional and collegiate, it gets a little bigger. If you go to high school, collegiate, and professional, it's even larger. So, how do you define your ideal clients? Professional athletes, it could be a very small market. Are you football athletes, soccer, basketball, whatever it may be? The more specific you get, the smaller the list becomes in that.
Is it safe to say also at the pro level, they're not handling a lot of their own communications? They pay
Exactly.
people to do that for them.
Yep.
They
That's
have
exactly
filters.
it.
Yeah. Okay, Allison asks, "Should the blog be put on your business website or should it be independent of your website?"
That depends on a couple of things. One of the things that we're starting to do in our organization is I want some of our top team leaders, I'm asking them to write a blog at least once a month. It does two things. It gets their name out to the world and it lets them become an authority. And two, it challenges them to learn. All right.
It's a very good point, that last one. I didn't think of that.
All right. And the second thing I like to do is if I run across something, like I ran across this list of the fundamentals of email marketing, good list, but I took it and made it mine. I expanded it a little bit. Okay. You don't necessarily have to steal stuff, just make it better. Somebody asked me a question, or I asked my uh, 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 coach a while back on speaking engagements. I said, why would people pay money to watch me and hear me talk? And he said, Mark, if you're going to regurgitate somebody else's stuff, they're not. They want to hear your point of view. How do you see email marketing? How do you perceive XYZ? If you're going to regurgitate somebody else's thoughts, you're not going to be considered the subject matter expert. I've got friends in the industry I'm in, we get in arguments all the time about which is better, which is worse. But I get to give, today you're getting my point of view. I'm sorry if you don't like it, tough, endure. But I'm just saying, those are the things that you get to do. Share your point of view. That's what people want. The people I follow, I love their point of view. Those are great. If people like you, they want to do business with you.
A follow on to Allison's question, how important is it to, if you run your website and your blogging separately, how important is it to have them cross-reference each other?
100%. I would recommend that. So I have, so funny story. If you go to marktrager.com, is my speaking site. It's very rudimentary right now, but a friend of mine has done a blog post every single day for the last 7 years. And I thought, okay, Mickey, you're out of your mind. Why would you do something like that? He said, well, it's for clarity of thought and it challenges my creativity. So on my website, I wrote a blog article every day for 97 days. I did that on purpose. I know, Tim. Okay. But I have to agree with him. Okay. It's the idea of this and the thought. So I'm also too promoting me as well as promoting the company. So if you get known as a subject matter expert and you're asked to speak or to do a SCORE seminar, then you get that kind of exposure. People want your point of view. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got what's the best approach to merge a booklet of emails to digital emails? I'm glad you got that one because I don't understand it.
Okay, so if you have a handwritten list of emails, which it sounds like you do, then I would suggest you're in for get yourself a good, beverage of your choice, adult or otherwise, sit down in front of the computer and just start manually entering those email addresses and names in yourself.
Or if you get kids, do it.
Hire a high school kid to do it for you. Okay. I'm just saying that's the nature of the beast. You're not going to have fun doing it. So wish you the best and let me know what beverage you decide on.
Vanolas comes back with another question. Have you heard of the lead generator Apollo IO?
Yep, I have. And we're going to talk about
regarding their email support.
we are going to talk about some of those artificial intelligence stuff as well.
Okay. Um, Renee, okay, thank you, because I need to repeat it. I'm too clueless about marketing. Okay, so that's just a comment from Renee. Okay. Um,
Renee, sign up for a free strategy session. We'll get you clued in.
yeah, there you go. Okay, Girthy again asks, oh, perfect pronunciation. Thank you for this, pronounce. Thank you. Um, Valerie L says high school. Then I think that's in response to,
Well, that's a huge market, absolutely huge. And if you're going after students, that's probably not going to be something you could go. Yeah, who pays the bills? Mom and
okay,
dad. Mom and dad is your target audience.
where you're catching up on your questions here, Mark. So we've got three more, and then we can turn it back over.
Go
Maybe.
for it.
Um, can you let us know the name of the local business for emails and contacts? It was discussed with the Zoom info. That's from Dennis. Can you let us know the name of the local business? Oh, that was Business Wise, wasn't it?
Yes, business wise. Yeah. Yeah. If you'll email me afterwards, my email will come up here at the end. I can get you the contact you need to talk to there. Gene Harrelson will do you a fantastic job and let you know what's going on.
Uh, Allison's question is a clarification. My question about where the blog should be was not answered. And okay, sorry if
Where does the blog need to be? I think it needs to be either integrated into your site or both. Okay, you can have it stand alone as well as integrated into your site. Because what you want to do, your company, if it's in the blog for your company, you'll get understood there. But if you want to make yourself a subject matter expert, you kind of almost need to stand alone a little bit. Okay. Hopefully that'll help clarify that.
Yep. Maria asks a question that several have asked. Will we get the slides? I can answer that for Mark. You won't get the slides, but Mark has put together a fantastic toolkit that will be just as useful, maybe even more so, because it has all the sort of worksheets that you can go through.
Yep.
So you get that, but only if you answer the survey that you'll receive via a link right after the workshop ends.
Yep.
Okay, Anonymous asks, the presentation will be great so far. How long is it scheduled to run? It's scheduled to run until noon. Mark, do you have a sense in where you are?
Yeah, I'm pretty much 3/4 of the way through. So what I'm going to try to do is wrap this up in about the next 15 minutes and leave the rest of the time for questions. And then that's typically what I like to do is try to leave at least 15 minutes for questions. We're getting a lot of it done now.
Yep. And so Els, Anonymous, and Vanola, your three questions are still there, pending the completion of Mark's slides. So don't despair.
Hang in there. It's
I'm,
coming. I promise.
I'm out of here. See you
All
later
right.
on.
Here we go. Moving forward. All right. So let's talk about this thing called email strategy. All right. It's like anything. I'm a big proponent of strategy. All right. And here's what you need to do. Take a screenshot of this. This is very, very, very important. Email marketing needs to integrate into every part of what you do as a business. It needs to integrate into your CRM. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right. There's a lot of ways to do that that saves time, energy, and effort. But having all of this information at your fingertips makes life so much easier and makes it easy for you to do and make sound business decisions. All right. So what is the benefits of having an email marketing strategy? Make sure time and budget optimized. It just simply makes it more efficient. It's targeted and personalized. You're very specific, very focused. Metrics to learn how it works. Measurement is critical. And a lot of these software packages will do that for you. Builds credibility. Increases your website traffic. If you're constantly referring them to your website or a specific page within your website, it does nothing more but increase traffic. Better brand recognition. The more you show up on their radar, the more you're going to become a part of their everyday thinking and mindset. Establishes your authority. I want to do business with somebody that kind of knows what they're doing. And a part of that is getting to know you and trust you over time. It boosts sales. All of a sudden, like the one client that we're about ready to send an email campaign, we just completely redid their website. When it launches, we're going to send out an email campaign to all their customers and let them know about the new site and expanded services. He'll probably get a 5 to 10% return on calls on that for his existing clients to do more business with him. That's an easy way to boost sales. It builds excitement. I mean, come on. The more you keep doing and the more reaction that you get from people, the better. I get a lot from this. Those questions that everybody asked today, awesome questions. It tells me I'm hitting all the right places. It also too builds stronger customer relationships. The more you're reaching out and giving them value and not expecting something in return, the stronger that relationship goes. It's kind of like I tell people, if you're going to call me with a couple of quick questions and it's going to take me 5 minutes to answer, no charge. I'm not like a lawyer. I don't turn the clock on. Now, if we're going to have an extended conversation and talk about something serious, when it comes down to what you're trying to do or accomplish in your marketing, that's a different conversation. But again, that builds the relationship with someone. Okay. So now let's figure out how we're going to get started. All right. That's the most important thing. All right. Getting started is simple. You got to define your audience and define your goals. A lot of the worksheets that I'm going to send you will help you with a lot of this. Build your email list, and we'll talk about how to do that in a moment. Okay. Choose your email, typo there, email campaign type. Talk about that in a moment. Make a consistent schedule. Consistency is key here. If you're going to send a monthly newsletter, send it once a month at a specific date and time. If it's the third week of every month, send it the third week of every month. People begin to expect it. Okay. Measure results. Software nowadays can measure every person that opened it, tell you by their email address, the links that they clicked on, everything. It's so important. Like one of our clients that has a very strong presence in Asia, when they have about 1,000 people that they reach out to on the Pacific Asia Rim on a regular basis. When they put their new line card or product card in, they had over 700 people download that card immediately. That's pretty strong. Okay. All right. So now, how do we go about building your list? All right. All right. Let me skip that. Okay. Simple. You got your opt-in form. Okay. You can have a newsletter sign-up form right there where you can sign up for your newsletter. Your contact form can be used to do that. You can take something to drink here. All right. Another thing to build it from is your content. Social media is a good source of that. You post something, sign up for our newsletter. especially in LinkedIn. At the end, like more of this content, sign up for our newsletter. Here's the link. Boom. It signs them up. When they come to your website, something pops up and has them sign up for it or to download something, whatever it may be. Okay. Sign up form for an event, a seminar, loyalty card, webinar that you've got coming up, an event you've got about to happen, whatever it may be. A sign up form is great to do that. All right. Incentives. We're working with a plus size clothing manufacturer. An incentive is that, for X number of dollars bought, you get X number discount. Okay, Tim, you're back in. So what's up?
Personal question here. What's the best way to get the opt-in form in front of somebody that you want to get on to your list?
When you say you want someone to get on the list, how do you get
I understand an opt-in form,
right?
and I know that the information from the opt-in form can be a part of my growing list of email
Right.
contacts. But what are the ways to get the opt-in form in front of them so they can fill it out?
Well, is everything you do to reach out to them is got that link to sign up for that.
Okay.
Okay. It just needs to be part of everyday marketing and talking.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry this is jumping all over. I just put this in yesterday and I didn't get a chance to check through this. It should have nice lined up in sequence. Incentives. If you do this today, you qualify for this. It's like one of the best ones I've ever seen for this is Montana Knife Company. These guys are brilliant at marketing. I wish I had thought of this, but they don't have anything in inventory. They drop a knife that they're building in the factory on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. I get notified. I've missed several of them, but when you think about it, just by doing this one strategy to build their business, in 2 years, they've done $45 million in sales. Crazy. An incentive to, I've only got a limited amount that I made. We're going to make them available at this time. I mean, he's got over 25,000 people on his email list and growing. People that want to buy their product. It's an amazing company. I'm just saying that's an incentive. That's an example of that. Gamification. You do this and that and so forth, you get loyalty points or icons or whatever that are renewable for X. Make it easy for them to collect points through gamification. Landing page. So let's say you've got something like a checklist of the top 15 things you need to do as a professional athlete to do X. Let's pick on the professional athlete market. Well, is it something they never thought of before? If they haven't, they need to fill it out. And it could be as simple as just their first name and email address. Boom, on the list. And they get sent a that list as part of that. Now, here's a key element. Okay. If you haven't done this yet, do it. Okay. It's kind of fun. All right. When you go to fill out on a landing page, they want your name and email address in order to send the content to them. Type in something made up and type up a bogus email address and click, and you'll be able to download that right now. Then you're not on their list to get a bunch of useless information or, to fill up your inbox. I've seen this done by large companies, and it's like, really? So anything you sign up for us, we're going to say thank you, and it's going on the way to your inbox. You're going to receive that through your inbox. It tells me that you are a legitimate person. All right. You have crossed the threshold. You wanted information about our brand. So, again, little tricks like that let you know you have a quality email list. Okay. Giveaways. Oh my gosh, what are we doing here? I'm giving away all these worksheets for simply filling out a survey. Oh my gosh, it's a giveaway. We average about 100 giveaways, 75 to 100 with each seminar that we do. Give it away. We've gotten a numerous accounts from that. All right. A lead magnet. And we'll talk about lead magnets in a moment here. But these are basic ways to do that. Add your friends, your family. When you go to a trade show, have a sign up card. Have them go to a kiosk to write in their name and email address. That short circuits all of that. Okay. There's a lot of ways to capture that at a trade show. So let's talk about this thing called lead magnets. Okay. There's a lot of them. A lead magnet is I'm going to give you this, my name and email address, and you're going to give me this back. Could be an ebook, a white paper, an infographic, a report, a checklist, a template to do something, a tool, whatever it may be. There's a whole list of those. There's so many of them. But one that I think is kind of interesting is a webinar. You can do like a 2-hour webinar, like when we're doing our webinar series coming up in April. What we're going to do is they're all going to be recorded and they're going to be available on demand. So if you see our webinar for email marketing and you missed it, you can still sign up for it and watch it instantly. All right. Those are little tricks that you can do with a lead magnet that, again, adds to your list and makes things grow. Okay. I would much rather have a list of highly qualified suspects than 5,000 names I don't know anything about. Then I can do a whole lot more with those 100 names. All right. Okay, now comes the fun part, the tools you need. But in order to have the tools and do them right, you kind of need to know the fundamentals. Now, there's about 13 of them here. You're going to get a report that'll go into much more depth about these 13 and give you some nice examples to consider. Okay. It's about a 5-page, I think it's 5 or 6 pages, but I think this is the fundamentals you need to do. Okay. The first one is be human, you know, be you. That's what people want to know. Don't be somebody else, just be you. Okay. We're all weird. I'm weird. All right. But be you. That's what people want. They want to see you. All right. And the hardest thing for you to do when you speak or go onto a podcast or whatever is most people can't stand their voice. Get over it. It's okay. You sound like that all your life. Nothing you can do to change it, embrace it, and be you. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Stay away from the average length subject lines. They say it should never be more than 60 or 70 characters long or words long or characters long. I don't believe that anymore. I think if it's shorter than that, you're going to get more results a lot of times. Even if it's longer than that, you're going to still get a lot more click throughs. So there's no rhyme or reason. Just make it specific to what the content is in the newsletter. That's the secret here. Okay. And there's a tool we're going to share about in a minute here. Okay. And keep that subject line on target, on topic. All right. Another thing to do is be concise with your copy. A lot of us like to opine and, elaborate on everything. Simple, to the point. I will read a shorter bullet listed e-newsletter than I will something that's, looks like an epistle. All right. Again, know your audience. Focus on benefits and value you bring. Yeah, I know you want a sale. I get that. But what value do you bring to the audience, to the client? Focus on what you bring to the table. It's not always about sale. The more value you can offer, the more you're going to have a long-term customer. Consider your call to action placement. Call to action, CTA. Okay. You've read this. Now I want you to do that. I'm a firm believer that it should be placed at least 2 or 3 different places within your email. Tim, you're back. What's up?
Yeah. One of our attendees, Andre, asks, can you back up 2 slides?
Back up 2 slides. Oh my gosh, that's technical.
She was hoping you could repeat one of the slides. I didn't want to.
Did she know which one? Is
Uh,
that it? You might want to take a screenshot of that.
Maybe one before that. Okay. So I couldn't be
Oh,
much
I know which
farther.
one she wants. She wants this one right here.
Okay.
Yeah, let me bring them all to life. And I should have said you should have taken a screenshot of this.
I know I did. All right. I have to do those marketing workshops and I've got to steal from the best. If you're going to steal, steal from the best.
Now, Tim, you're not stealing, you're gleaning. Okay.
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 Andrea, hopefully you got it. Mark, thanks for the interruption. I'm out of here.
No problem. So let me go back to what Tim had said. Okay. And I think this is an important point. Okay. One of the things that I'm a firm believer on is a lot of R&D. That's not research and development. It's rip off and duplicate. All right. There's not very few new ideas, but when you take somebody's idea, personalize it to you, make it yours, make it come from the heart. That's that humanization right there. So if you're going to rip off and duplicate, just make it yours, okay? And improve on it. There's a lot of stuff that I'll read and going, they left out about 8 different things. Excuse me, 8 different things. I'm going to take that and expand on it, okay? They missed the boat. So again, those are the kinds of things that create great content. Okay, front load links. So what I mean by that is that usually in that first paragraph, there's your name appears, Cornerstone Media Group. It's highlighted with a hyperlink to our website, right in the first paragraph. People will click things right in the beginning. Again, any hyperlink that you can make to content, blog, downloads, or whatever, right in the beginning on the front end, load it up. All right. And it's all trackable too. And with a lot of these different softwares we'll talk about in a minute. Make your call to action copy interesting. Don't say, we got, click now or whatever. Like one of the things I like to use with video is you set it up by putting a nice description and say, oh, watch how to do it or watch how, and that's something they didn't expect. All right. So make that copy interesting to, again, I call it a pattern interrupt. Where's the pattern interrupt? How are you going to be different from the rest? A lot of those 8 words or less that I heard, some of them are real snoozers. And what I mean by a snoozer is predictable. Everybody says those lines. What's making you different? How are you going to stand out? That's what I'm looking for. Okay, accuracy trumps personalization. Make sure you're accurate on what you say. All right. And it doesn't hurt to reference somebody else that said it first. I'm a big proponent of I don't know. I know it's hard to believe, but I don't know everything. Talk to the people. I like to get very varied opinions, and I always reference who I got it from. Create a responsive, easy to read layout. When you're testing your email campaigns, make sure you check to see how it looks on your mobile device. 55% of the people read their email on their phone. It has to look amazing. All right. Spend the time to get it right. Okay. And use color wisely. You know, one of the things that we have as part of our brand book that we do with clients is we have a color palette. What are the acceptable colors to do on everything? We'll have an email template can create it, that the basic one. Everything color wise, it needs to be intentional. Please use high quality images. Those are very important, even if they're stock, make sure they're high quality and they have to be under 500K as far as size. Otherwise, they won't load. And you'll get into a size issue with it. Okay. Whoops. Wait a minute here. Let me go back. Something jumped out ahead of me here. Quality images and make it easy to say no more. Make it easy for somebody to unsubscribe. All right. Make it easy for them to click here and unsubscribe from your list. It will go a long way. Now, I know it's heartbreaking when you lose somebody from your list. I'm okay with it. If you cut off, if you stop getting my emails, I'm okay with it. That just means you're not an ideal client for us. I'm okay with that. But make it easy for them to say no more. Don't send me any more stuff. All right. Okay. Email design elements. When you're designing an email, make it simple. And I mean, it can be as simple as just words, no images. I'm seeing more and more of that to be more effective. Okay, Tim, what's up?
So in a couple of minutes, you have a lunch break and some study time.
Okay, I'm almost done.
No, it's popped up on the screen.
Oh, it has?
It looks
Oh,
like your personal task list.
all right.
You got your time scheduled.
All right, let me get out of here real quick, and
I would like to know what you're studying because it's
I can't tell you that. It's top secret. All
out of here.
right.
By the way, you've got 7 more questions piling up.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna move fast here.
Yeah, including a couple from Teresa and others about font sizes.
We'll talk about all that here in a
All
second.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Simple. Make your no more than 2 or 3 points in your thing. Include the T's. Here's a great way to put a blog post on there. Write about 4 sentences on there and click to learn more or find out more or read more or whatever. That's a great tease. Tease them with the content and get them to click off to your site. Make sure you have a call to action on everything you do. All right. Let's talk about software. There are hundreds of them. Our personal favorite is Zoho. Zoho campaigns will do everything you see here, only better. But the $45 subscription that you'll pay a month for that includes so much more. You get a CRM system that's amazing. You get an accounting called Books, amazing, better than I think better than Intuit. You get about 45 different variations and applications you can use to grow your business, all included in the one-time fee of $45 a month. And there's a link to get a free 30-day trial. But Zoho Campaigns to me is better than Constant Contact and a lot of the other ones that you'll see here and other ones that are out there. Okay. All right. Let's talk about next. Talk about AI tools. Decreases your cost. It does a lot of things that makes this thing go a whole lot faster. And again, it does everything you can think of. All right. So let's look at a couple of tools. Here are, and you want to take a screenshot of this. These are just four of the ones that we use all the time. The one I like the most too is for creating images is Microsoft DS. That image that you saw, the opening slide, that was done on Microsoft DS. Okay, but take a screenshot of this. This is a good starting point for you. Okay. All right. So now we're at the questions things. But before we get into that, if you'll take your phone out and do me a favor and hit that QR code and write me a quick review on how I did today, I'd really sure would appreciate it very much. And when you do your survey, if you really like what you saw here today, the magical number is a 5. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. Okay, now questions.
Just there's one that just came up a second ago from the Zoho special code. A couple of sliders so back where you had
Yep.
this, you had that Zoho.
Oop.
One more.
Yep. There it is. Take a screenshot.
Okay.
That should get you a nice free 30-day trial.
Okay, now we got to go right back to L's.
Okay.
Asked which company to use for email campaign. MailChimp, Sender.
Zoho.
Zoho, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. Zoho. Okay.
Zoho is the best. It does everything. It's got AI in it. It's got everything that you'll see on MailChimp and Constant Contact and all of them. Try them all if you want. Usually you can get a free 7-day trial, but try them all if you want. Okay. And by the way, there's that QR code. Take your phone out and hit that real quick if you would. I would really appreciate it.
I've
And
used
right,
Zoho CRM for a while. I really love the CRM system in Zoho. It's excellent.
yeah, they're well, here's what I like about that is Salesforce, when we looked at them, we have about 150 customized fields. Salesforce wanted $85,000 to do the coding for that. And I said, you're out of your mind. I know how to code. Let me have access. I'll take care of it. Zoho will allow you for every screen 500 fields to add, custom fields. It's insane. It is fantastic. I've been with them for almost 15 years. They are fabulous. Okay, questions.
Okay. So Anonymous.
Oh, one other thing before I get started. Also, too, don't forget, you go to our website in the upper right-hand corner, sign up for your free 30-minute strategy session. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Tim.
So ready, folks, before the slide goes away, take the screenshot. Okay, Anonymous said, how do you get people to sign up for a newsletter if only those who are signed up can read it?
If only those that sign up can read it.
How do you get people to sign up for a newsletter if only those that are signed up can read it? So getting people to sign up that are outside.
Getting people to sign up, you can't come. The way you get them to sign up is giving them a compelling reason to sign up. Is there something you're going to offer them for free? Is there something that they want more information about? Putting a newsletter sign up is tell them if they sign up for the newsletter, what are you going to get? What are you going to do with that name and number or name and email address? Okay. So getting them to sign up is the hardest thing out there. But doing certain things to get them to inquire and ask information is the challenge that you're faced with. And if you want, sign up for a free 30-minute session and we'll talk more about how to do that. Okay.
Vanola asks, how do you build an email list? I think you had a slide on
Same
that.
basic concept. Again, sign up for the session. We'll talk about your specific needs.
Okay. Anonymous asks, what program did you use to create this demo or presentation?
Keynote on Mac.
Keynote on Mac.
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody needs to be on a Mac. That's just me.
Keynote have a non-Mac version?
Well, you can do it on PowerPoint too.
Very good.
I just use a Mac all the time, and this is their version of PowerPoint. I do, but I actually have both. But I prefer Keynote. There's more options.
Bobby asks, what's the most effective time length for an online webinar?
My answer is always, how long will they stay and pay attention? Okay. If you have compelling content, I've been on webinars for 2 hours. Like, we've got over 150 people still here. Either they're napping or, okay, it's the content. But usually it's no more than 30 to 45 minutes. That's if it's topic based. All right. That's usually a good idea.
We peaked at 195 attendees and we still have 157. So it's probably the content, huh?
Let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
Okay, so Renee asks, where do you find good quality images? You certainly had a lot here today.
Well, that's a great question. There are a lot of sources out there. A lot of what I do is the Microsoft Design. Those are all free. That's the best part about it. You can create those amazing images from them for free. There's a lot of free sources. Just put in free images, and there's Plexel. There's a bunch of them out there. But I subscribe to Shutterstock and Adobe. I get a lot of them from there.
Two people would like you to go back. Valerie would like to see the QR code, and Dennis would like to see the AI screenshot, please.
Okay. All right. There's the QR code.
Got it, Valerie?
Take a picture of that real quick.
And then the AI screen.
And I'll go back to the AI screen here. Okay. Take a screenshot of that as well. But I refer to AI as my little friend, my little helper.
And you did do the Zoho link, right?
Yes, I did do it, but I can do it again.
Dorothy, that's down at the bottom. Dorothy, you should have that ready. Copy. Caps lock 3. Okay. Vanola wonders about your opinion on Monday.com.
Monday.com is good. We use Zoho for a lot, but we also use ClickUp. ClickUp is a great program for using a lot of different tracking mechanisms for projects and things like that. If you're using something to keep yourself organized, money's not a bad thing, but again, you can sign up for a free trial. Look at that. Again, you're going to have to experiment what's what's best for you.
Thank you. Hope says, I captured the QR code, but I'm on my phone. Now, can I go to the survey just after the seminar,
We have,
please?
yeah, as soon as we post that, I think you'll get that in an email, won't you?
Yeah.
You'll get the survey link in an email. Okay.
And if for any reason, and none of some of these things don't happen, like if you don't get the survey or whatever, I'm sure you will, but if you don't, you can always reach me at tim.loden, L-O-D-E-N, no W, L-O-D-E-N, at Score Volunteer, that's all one phrase, scorevolunteer.org, tim.loden at scorevolunteer.org. And also you can reach out to Mark by the numerous ways he's given you to reach him.
There's my email address there. I'll be more than happy to help you in any way I can. But again, I mean, these are the kinds of things that are all important elements. I know I've overwhelmed you. You're sitting there going like, okay. But hopefully you've gotten a few ideas. Again, it's all about getting this organized and done. You can do it yourself, say to help, whatever is best for you. People always ask, can we do this for well under $1 million? Yes, we can. Well under $1 million. Okay. But anyway, like I said, take advantage of signing up for a free 30-minute session. That's going to be so helpful. All right. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the link to sign up for it. By all means, please sign up. Okay. I
Anonymous
love doing these.
Anonymous asks, I'm creating an e-commerce business. I always see 10% off or free shipping.
Yep.
Do you know how I can come up with a more creative incentive than those?
Um,
30-minute session.
30-minute session, there's a lot of things you can do for that. I've got some ideas already. We've got one client that's doing that now. You've already got customers, loyalty programs are a great way to do that.
Dennis says it was a great workshop. And I agree. It was a great workshop. Well
Thank
done,
you.
Mark, as always. Um, Victoria says, this is troubling. The link isn't working to review the
Like,
webinar. Actually, I'm surprised it's gotten out already. Valerie, if you're still having a problem in an hour, that means everybody's going to have a problem. If that is in fact the case, Bill Macy will resend it. So somebody needs to let me know because I don't get the survey myself. But if nobody's having success in getting the link, let me know and I'll have Bill send it or resend it. Thank you for bringing that to
just
our
just
attention.
tell Bill to resend it anyway.
Yeah, I
It'd be
guess
easier.
so. And Dell says he can't capture the QR code.
Well, okay, there you go. Now you can.
Well, we'll leave that up. Anonymous, uh, how do we receive the toolkit? Again, when you complete the survey that hopefully you will receive in an email link shortly, then everyone who answers the survey, every single one will get Mark's toolkit.
Yep. Yeah, I'll send it to you personally.
And Catherine, Tim, can you add your uh, contact information to the chat? Sure, I can do that. Dell thanks Mark for such a great job. Uh,
Thank you.
and
Well, hopefully y'all learned a few things.
And Francis says he got a 404 error code when trying to use the QR.
All right, hang on a second here. Let me try it. No, it came up for me. So, just retry it.
Yeah. Renee, the survey has more than one question. I wonder if you need to page down, something like that. I took the survey for a previous workshop just to have the experience. Maybe it's just a question of paging down. Okay.
I appreciate all the nice. I'm reading here some of the comments, and I really appreciate all the kind words here.
And
Looking
don't forget
forward to
about the
talking to some of
whistling
you.
gopher. That is probably the most important thing you would have learned today, the whistling gopher. How much is a gopher?
I think everybody needs to know, and we all have our own whistling gophers, believe me.
Not to be confused with Whistle Pig rye, a 10-year-old rye whiskey.
Right.
Goes for $90 a bottle. Okay, if there's nothing more, then again, on behalf of the SCORE and our chapter in particular, Mark, thanks for what is, as usual, a really great workshop. I can tell from the
Right.
chat that people got tons of benefit out of it. And
Good.
folks, if you don't have a SCORE mentor, I highly recommend that you sign up for one. Ask for one in the survey, call me, contact me, go to the website, but get a SCORE mentor. They're fun, they're friendly, and they exist only to help you grow and prosper in your business.
And they're amazing.
We have some fantastic, we have 90 in our little chapter alone, and I can tell you they
They're amazing.
are
I've
great.
met most of them.
Okay, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.